everybody, did you know that the word garage is actually derived from the French word garrière, which means to store? And while we mostly think of using garages as a place to store cars, anything from soccer mom SUVs to supercharged street rods, they're also a great place for storing tools, fishing poles, and junk, but also dreams. You ever hear the story about that tech startup that began in a garage? Or the band that everybody loves? Well, today, we're going to check out a very special garage with a very special person. So let's open this sucker up. Okay, so I'm hanging out today with Scott, and Scott has invited us into his garage, which is beautiful.
Welcome to my garage.
Yeah, it's awesome to be in here. So walk me around and tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do in here.
Okay, I like to repurpose old stuff.
Okay.
Mainly, I do crafts work, some woodwork, painting, metalwork, tool work, basically turning junk into art. I like anything that makes my mind think. Look around, you can see everything does.
There are a lot of things that make your mind think.
I like trains, I like tanks, I like airplanes.
Airplanes, saws.
I collect saws.
Old signs.
Old signs. You know, our house is small. This garage is probably half as big as our house, the living space.
Yep.
So I made it my place. I like making birdhouses. What I do is I go through the internet and I collect pictures of old birdhouses.
Okay.
And I make them exactly like the picture. If they're crooked, I make them crooked. I got some 40-plus-year-old wood from different fences and places, and I got a chunk of barn roof, and I make them old. After I make things, either they're gonna go on my wall, they're gonna go in the backyard, or I give them away. I like doing that.
So how'd you get into this sort of like crafting?
Well, my mom was an artist and a sculptor, and she made stained glass windows and had a shop for all of it. I have younger brothers that do all kinds of art. And one of my older brothers is an established artist up in San Jose area. It's like, for instance, this stuff over here that was made out of a refrigerator.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. So like wall art that's cut out of flat surface.
Yep. My dad taught all of us. We grew up learning masonry work. He did a lot of brickwork. He was an electrical engineer. He built telescopes. He built televisions. A lot of my older brothers followed his footsteps in electronics and that kind of stuff. And I stayed with mechanics for a long time, but I did learn wood from him. I know how to make something sturdy. This table is sturdy. That saw came from home. My dad taught all of us how to use it, and we used to cut firewood, so
Did you? Like a two-person job?
Yep.
I thought that was only in like cartoons.
Well, my dad had a whole full crew with 7 boys. We cut up a lot of firewood with that. I was a wrench turner for many years, and now I'm not. And so the wood is just enjoyable. And when you screw it up, you can just chuck it out. Come down here and want to get a project, start looking around. I like the sparks in my brains when I look at everything. It makes me feel good.
What is this?
Oh, that's my steampunk saw.
That's fascinating.
You can see it's an old saw. It looks like maybe it's a chainsaw, but it's not. It's a steampunk item.
How'd you get into steampunk?
I found it on the internet and I go, what the heck is this? And I liked steampunk. So I gave it a try.
So we go from birdhouses to all these other crafts that you make. Tell us about this steampunk cannon.
They use sprockets, they use chains, they use pipe. And it's all just fantasy kind of stuff. And I go, I can do that. You know, I go into my air tools and I said, well, the hose is old. Copper pipe, I had some, so I did all the copper piping.
This is really intricate.
Antique salt and pepper shaker.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can see it right on it. It says salt and pepper.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
And so I used a valve, a submarine valve, and made my little up and down on the barrel.
Nice.
And of course, I got my submarine sight.
I saw that, yeah, which is a really great idea. Any good cannon should.
Yeah. I keep it covered because it alarms the neighbors. They come over and they go, does that work? Is that a real cannon? No. My whole career, and there's 40 years right in a row, I didn't take any break after the Navy. The day I got out of the Navy, the next morning I started at NASCO Shipyard and then moved over to BAE Shipyard. And I've always had a shop. Even on the submarines in Auxiliary Division, A Division, I had a shop there and I was in charge of it. And I've always had a shop, and I can't picture not having a shop with tools. In fact, I'll just say, that workbench was with me in the Navy. When I was an instructor teaching general mechanical skills in diesel, I had that workbench, the whole setup over there, and they downsized and salvaged it before I left, and they gave it. They told me I could take it, so I've been using that workbench for a lot of years. What's funny is I'm on the dark side of 60 here, and this is the first house we ever owned. My wife and I were in the Navy. She was a torpedo man, and she used to build torpedoes. And we have like 35 years between us in the military, and we didn't have a lot of time to buy houses. So finally, in our late 50s, bought a house. We've been here 15 years now. Can I stand up and grab something? I wanted to stump you guys.
Ah.
Can I do that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, wise guys. Tell me what this is for. I say, it's a vise and I can use it. I was dead wrong. This is a walnut cracker. I looked it up by the name right on it. It says perfection. And I looked it up, and look how heavy duty it is. I was going to use it here on the workbench for a vise. Stumped all of us for a while. Every one of these tools can be used. The saws all work. Everything I have works, and that's when I see them at the flea market for a couple bucks. I can't walk by and just let them go. So I've always had tools. I mean, I keep my truck stocked with tools. I have other places around the house where I have tools. My wife has her own toolbox in her office.
What would life be like if you didn't have a garage?
I wouldn't have a house without a garage, really. I mean that. I wouldn't even think twice about a house that I didn't have a garage or could make a shop in. This is the best part of the garage, okay, because my buddy Oscar and any of the other neighbors, we come over here and sit and we watch the world go on and we solve all the problems here.
Your space is really good. It's beautiful. It seems well curated. What do you feel when you come out here?
It's my place. I put the wood up the same month I moved in on the walls. I got paneling and got my nail gun out and put that up. And I knew for one thing, in the middle of the garage was going to be a heavy-duty workbench, plus my workbench that's gone with me everywhere. And I had to make room for a lathe and where I could actually use it. It's put together just how I like it.
How's it shaped some of your relationships with people in the neighborhood?
Well,
I mean, you seem like the kind of guy who always has his door open.
I do.
Kind of always has a welcoming smile, probably.
Anybody walking by and they see something, they walk slow, and when I see that happen, I go,
come on in, check it out. Which is like what you did for us.
Yeah, I'm that kind of guy.
I want to say a special thanks to Scott for sharing his garage with all of us and telling us about it. As you can tell, he's a really cool guy, and this has been a lot of fun for me, just being here and learning from him. If you liked watching this show and you know of a garage with a great story you'd like to see featured, tell us about it. Email us at thegarageshow@gmail.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe.